All right. Is there any English speakers over here in the crowd? Yes, all right, we'll do it in English. So good morning, everyone, and thank you, TECH1, for organizing this beautiful summit. So I got a super special task from the TECH1 team, and the task is to keep around 100 different VCs entertained while I'm talking about market trends. My name is Barak Schoster Goihman. I'm with the Battery Ventures teams. If you want money, Shiran is there, and he's a big check writer. Battery Ventures is a fund that is being active in Israel since the early 90s and have been lucky enough to see multiple companies making the journey from 1 million of revenue to 1 billion of revenue multiple times over the 41 years of history that it has. I've been one of the portfolio founders in the Battery Ventures team, and I turned investor and joined the investment team not too long ago. So what I'm doing when I'm talking about market trends usually is I hang out with my friends and I ask them, how's the future going to look like? But to be more serious about it, Battery Ventures is doing every quarter an annual survey and asking 100 different CXOs, meaning CIOs, CTOs, CISOs, that are spending 35 billion every year, what they're going to spend their money on tech, AI, and cybersecurity products on the next 24 months. But before starting to talk about what the largest banks are going to spend their money on related to AI, let's start with a different survey with a raise of hand and try to break the ice on the hot days of Eilat. So on January 2025, which seems like ages ago, but it has been only 4 or 5 months ago, we had DeepSeek coming into our life and changing how we think about foundational models and how enterprises are spending their money on AI services. Companies like OpenAI and Anthropic have raised multiple billions, and DeepSeek might have changed our paradigm on how enterprise will consume AI, and will they use open source models or cheaper models to be produced. So with a raise of hand, who believes that Anthropic will be the winner of the AI market? All right, we're not a lot, but I'm one of the Anthropic fans. I think they're doing excellent job, and I'm betting on them to change the AI market. And who will change the search market? Would it be Google, Perplexity, or OpenAI? Who's on the Google is going to stay and going to be the winner camp? Okay, more people? Not so much. It's a tough crowd today. And the super interesting company that no one have heard of outside of gamers have came into our life 3 years ago. And today, NVIDIA is worth or last week, I haven't looked at the stock market today, 3.7 trillion is the market cap of NVIDIA. Who believes it's going to stay? 3 trillion. Who believes that it's going to be 5 trillion in a year or two? Right, most of the people think that it's going to become 5 trillion company. I believe that it's going to be a 1 trillion company, and they're going to going down in their value. But it seems like none of us really knows the future, so we're going over something that is more conservative, what our CIOs are actually going to put their money on. And we surveyed those 100 different CIOs and CTOs and CISOs, and when they're spending their 35 billion annually, they're also spending about 100 million only on AI services and software. And the different companies that we surveyed, most of the spending is, as probably expected, is coming from financial services. Think about the largest banks in the world, or the financial brokers, but also public tech companies that are in the Fortune 1000, and public services and retail companies. And we asked them, the first question is the budget going up or down? Like every now and then we're hearing about recession, and the good news is that there is no recession planned among the CIOs and CTOs of those large corporates. The spend is actually higher than it was in 2023. It's not growing fast as we would have hoped for, but it's still growing. We're also asking them, where are you in the journey of moving AI into production? And it seems like it is a low number. 16% of the AI workloads are in production. But the good news is it's 3 times the amount they had a year ago. So the movement into AI in production is actually accelerating. And the number of AI products that are in those enterprises is about 41 AI products that are planned on the next 24 months. And there is a difference between AI products and AI agents, and we heard some of it yesterday. So 92% of the organizations are going to implement AI agents on the next 24 months. So we have a growth in budget, and a lot of it is going to AI. And the question that we're all asking ourselves, is it going to augment the workforce, or is there hope for replacement in the workforce? Or in other words, are you going to have a reduction in force, or firing people, in your large corporate? And the answer is not really. Like, we're all talking about being more efficient and on our spending, and which will reduce the amount of headcount that we need. There is actually a famous public case, a paper that the Shopify CEO have released, saying every employee, when you're asking for a headcount, you need to explain to the HR department, why can't you replace those AI services, those headcount requests with AI? What have you tried to automate using AI before adding more people into the group? But what we're seeing is actually most of the people are seeing agentic AI as an investment to be made to augment the group of people that you have in the organization. There is now big plans to slow down the hiring compared to previous year. There is no big plans to change the hiring plans or to increase hiring. So what you're reading in the news, and Amitai will kill me later, is that people are here to stay. The reduction in force is just a regular exercise that is happening on publicly traded companies. And agentic AI is probably a branding exercise to why you're firing people. Most of the people are just getting more of their teams. And then we're asking those CXOs, all right, you're not reducing in force, you're adopting AI services. What other top 5 priorities you have when you're spending your annual budget? And I promise you that you have 41 more pages with more data on the Battery website, battery.com. You can read it in our blog. So in the past few years, everything that drove the market pool was cloud infrastructure spending. And for the first time, we have a new spending priority that is different from cloud infrastructure. And that's the Gen AI spending, going from 2023, when the OpenAI boom have started, and now it's the #1 most requested feature to spend money on in the enterprises. And we actually have good news as a cyber nation. The enterprise security budget was down last year, and thanks to AI adoption, you need more AI security, and that drove up the enterprise security spending. And also, that specific market has a talent shortage, and there is hope among the CIOs that that talent shortage can be, or the current talent in their enterprises can be augmented using AI services. So cloud infrastructure spending is not the top 1 priority, but where are we in the journey that is now taking more than 10 years in cloud adoption? For the first time, more than 50% of the cloud workloads are in the plan to move into production from on-premises environment. Previous years, still there was enterprises that more than 50% of the workloads were planned to stay on the on-prem environment. And you're probably saying to yourself, it's probably because AI is more accessible in the cloud. I have AWS Bedrock. I have OpenAI available there. I don't have the same on-prem services. So that's only half of the answer. Most of the people are accelerating their movement into the cloud because of a different reason, and that's the VMware prices hikes. After VMware was acquired by Broadcom, some of the organizations are getting tripled invoice, And that's what accelerating their movement to the cloud alongside AI services. And there is actually an interesting movement. Enterprises are more willing to try new solutions. Although if you listen to public earning calls from ServiceNow, Salesforce, Workday, Monday, you'll hear once a quarter the term AI being said more than I'm saying it in this lecture. So you'll see ServiceNow and Salesforce announcing new AI, exciting AI features. Having said that, there is two motions that are interesting. One of them is people are willing to change their Salesforce, their ServiceNow, their IBM. They are trying new startups. There wasn't that appetite in Fortune 1000 to try startup solutions as it was in the past. And that's because those enterprises are looking for AI-native solutions for the first time. So for example, most of your organizations are looking for AI agents to help them move off of ServiceNow, augment their current customer support team. And they are trying to see if new AI services will help them have better support and better NPS within their customer base. They're also hoping for the same on augmentation on cybersecurity teams, IT teams, etc. So Zendesk, the customer support solution, that is a huge one, and Monday.com, the Israeli ones, are actually at risk from new startups because those large enterprises want to try something new. There is also another interesting thing that is happening. Vibe coding is enabling, like Base44, Maor have been here on the stage yesterday. For the first time, is enabling enterprises to try their own thing and build their own apps instead of paying a large bill to Salesforce.com or SAP. People are just vibe coding their own ERP system. And I didn't expect Fortune 1000 companies to give it a try and replace their SAP or their IBM or Oracle, but they are trying to create their own custom applications. So let's recap on the different trends that we've seen, and there is like a large list of additional trends that you'll see on the full report at the Battery website. The first thing is cloud migration is at its peak. It's in its turning point, both from VMware prices hikes reasons and for AI services that are more accessible in the cloud. Core systems are being replaced in the largest trend that we've seen in the past few years. Gen AI is the top CIO priority, and it's scaling fast. The market didn't seem like that a few years ago. If I was on this stage 2 years ago, and I would have told you that an open source project fork named VS Code that has the best distribution in the world using Microsoft will be surpassed using a small startup that have copied off its code and it's named Cursor, and it's the fastest AI growing company, you would all have laughed because there is no moat. But it's actually happening. So if you believe that you have the next AI and cloud company in your portfolio, or you're building one yourself, you know where to find me, and I will be more than happy to write a big check and help you through that journey. Thank you, everyone.